Okay, it has been a solid 2 weeks since the last time I logged into my outer space game. I'm in a whole new house with a beard that's out of control. Let's see what's going on in deep space. Well, it looks like we're going fishing. This is Bill. Bill wants to build a Cynabal and join the Angel Cartel cause in Zarzak, but he's not making it easy on himself. So I genuinely have not logged into the game for the last 2 weeks. The move and the renovations took, as should be expected, more time and energy than expected. I have been keeping an eye on the Discord and on Reddit, so I do know about this limited time event introducing these fishing sites. I don't know how long it's going to last, and I don't really know the details, but I know that these sites appear as signatures. So we're going to start by scanning down Albres. The signatures we're looking for are, I believe, called Deepflow Rifts, and I think they appear as combat signatures in the probe scan window. Because this is an event, I think it's safe to assume these will be pretty ubiquitous. There are 5 signatures here in Albres. If we're lucky, one of them will be a fishing hole. So what I do know about these sites is that you need a tractor beam in order to do the fishing itself. The tractor beam is your fishing pole. And also, if you're not careful, scary things can jump out of the water. So we're going to need to bring something that is combat capable as well. Fortunately, the small tractor beam blueprints, because we have not needed a tractor beam before now, are for sale right here in Albres. Small tractor beam 1 blueprint, 90,000 ISK. And the first site we scan is a Deepflow Rift. Let's go in and put some eyes on it. We don't have any combat capability in our probe, and likewise we don't have a tractor beam yet. In fact, our tractor beam is not yet finished building. But that should only take a few more minutes. So I want to see what this site actually looks like in space before we come in here and risk something combat capable. Aura. Deep flow abyssal rift detected, Captain. Our sensors indicate an unknown mass on the other side. Activating tractor beams on the rift could retrieve whatever items lie beyond it. It's not appearing on any of our overview tabs. This is actually a pretty terrible UI decision by the EVE developers, which has been constant, which is that whenever they add a new item to the game, they don't add it to anyone's overview tab, not even the all tab. So let's see. I'm gonna add this to our all tab. I'm gonna add it to our general tab. All right, now we can see it. Let's actually see it. Looks a lot like a wormhole. Okay. The fact that this is actually a familiar looking graphic already calms my mind a little bit. I don't know what the actual NPC danger level looks like if you make the rift unstable and the bad guys come through. But I know people have been running them in cruisers. So keeping in line with our overall underpowered ships into the breach philosophy, let's see if we can't do it in a Thrasher. You can do everything in a Thrasher. I'm going to make another series after this one that's called Can I Do It in a Thrasher? That just runs all the content in the game, and the answer is always going to be yes. 4 minutes until the tractor beam finishes building, and apparently I've also built 10 particle accelerator unit blueprints in Thera. This is the problem of coming back to a run this complex after even a break of a couple of weeks. I don't think that I showed myself building these particle accelerator units in the last video. I'm sure I recorded myself doing it, but I don't remember what exactly it was I was planning to do with that. So this little fishing expedition may be happening in the middle of another planned video once I can go back and figure out what the hell it is I was planning to do with particle accelerator unit blueprints. Oh, I'm actually just researching the material efficiency. Maybe I'll build particle accelerator unit blueprints. Well, I'm probably not going to solve this mystery in the next 3 minutes. This is part of why I was excited that there was an event going on. We have come so far towards building the Cynabal, and we're really in the home stretch. But the tasks that are still ahead of us are actually going to be pretty complex. One of the tasks remaining ahead of us is actually building the Cynabal, which is going to involve bringing together all of our other efforts and assembling them through reactions and the rest of the process according to the plan. And it's going to be really easy. It's going to be really easy to forget a step. So I need to go back to this image of all of the steps that are still remaining. I need to reacquaint myself with it and make sure I understand what we've already done, what needs to be done next, so I don't do things in the wrong order, or worse, build something that I've already built and then end up with a shortfall of one of the resources when I had enough if I'd done things properly. So very soon, next week, we're going to be diving right back into it, and we're going to be looking at the actual steps it takes to get from here to Cynabal, because there aren't that many of them. But I do know that one of them is getting ourselves up to 500 million ISK. We were talking about that the last couple of episodes. We only have 150 million left to go, and we know exactly what the activities are that are going to earn us the most ISK. We did a full accounting of it. We're looking right now at either killing sleepers, running DED 5 of 10s, or doing belt riding and a catalyst. Any of those three things, and in a day and a half of grind, we can be at 150 million ISK, no problem. But this event, I happen to know, can also give us ISK. One of the things you can pull in is sleeper data libraries, the exact same loot that we get from killing the sleepers in the class 2 wormholes. So I don't know what the ISK per hour is going to look like on this little fishing trip, but I do know it is going to give us something that's directly useful to us. And our small tractor beam one has finished building. Trixie the Thrasher, already staged out here in Elbrez waiting for us. I don't remember when we left Trixie here, but I'm glad we did. Whole bunch of stuff in the hold that we don't need to bring with us. Actually, let's keep the mobile depot, the probe launcher, and the probes, so that if this goes well and we go wandering around Placid, we don't need to go back and forth between a probe and a Thrasher. That Deepflow Rift was very easy to scan. And now, thanks to the Thrasher's ever convenient utility high, we can toss on a tractor beam with a full rack of guns. There we go. All it took to make room was swapping our Enduring Afterburner for a compact, which is going to lower our tank a little bit. I also pulled a gyro stabilizer off for a damage control because, like I said, I don't really know what it is we're walking into here. All right, Trixie, let's go fishing. Okay, so I'm guessing that we target the rift and tractor beam it range within 20 kilometers. All right. Tractor beam active. I'm not catching anything. I do know that fishing classically is a waiting game. Oh, my tractor beam doesn't auto cycle? Do I have to click it every time? Looks like. All right. A rift that leads to abyssal dead space zones untraversable by capsuleers. It's impossible to travel through, but a tractor beam targeting this rift might dredge up items of interest from the other side. Might. Hasn't yet. Oh, here's more information. Okay. Canisters found. Time remaining. Time remaining until what? I really should have done some reading here. Rift instability. Over dredging may lead to a surge. Canisters found 0 of 27. Oh, a cargo container spawned. Okay. Man, I really should have done some more reading. I have no idea what's going on here. This time remaining 2 minutes and 1 second is stressing me out. I have no idea what a surge is. I don't know what instability means, but there's a cargo container and it contains a deep flow adaptive canister. Double click to open crate. We'll just take that into our hold for now because I this timer's ticking down. Ticking down to what? I can't be opening crates while I only have 1 minute and 30 seconds remaining in life? Can you imagine if you're just going about your day and a timer just popped up that said 1 minute 18 seconds remaining? Remaining to what? I need to figure out a better way to arrange my UI as well. I don't like having to make my directional scanner smaller to see all this. Can I pull this out into its own window? No. I mean, I can, but it doesn't have the relative information. Time to complete 15 minutes. Time remaining 38 seconds. Guys, it has been, I don't know, solid 7 years since I've been actually fishing with an actual fishing rod. I don't remember it being this stressful. I thought the whole point was that it's relaxing. Well, in 9 seconds, we're going to find out whether or not I should have been worried about that timer. 2, 1. Rift closed. So when did the 15-minute timer start? Is it because I warped to it? Is it because I warped to it in the probe and that started the 15-minute timer? Activate a tractor beam, time to complete 15 minutes maximum. I think when I warped to the site, I started a timer. Lead recommendations, size 1 to 3 pilots. Okay, well, no baddies spawned, and we caught 1 fish. Can we open it in space? Let's see what's inside our fish. Sleeper data, that's ISK. Okay. This madness has not been a total waste. 1 sleeper data library is not making us rich, but it is ISK. Oh, and Triglavian survey data. All right. 800,000 ISK. This is very strange. I am absolutely going to do that again immediately. Okay, I have scanned 4 systems now, 5 systems now in Trixie the Thrasher, and it's been painful. It's been painful with no scan bonus at all. And I have found not a single fishing hole. I have found a number of data and relic sites that I certainly would have run just on the way if I was in a probe in the hopes of getting more spatial attunement units, and a couple of data sites that I couldn't get 100% locks on, which makes me wonder if there are maybe ghost sites. I am feeling like this wandering around Placid in a Thrasher with scanner probes on it is a silly plan. It doesn't take that long to jump back and forth to get a ship, and for that matter, we didn't see an NPC at all in our first fishing hole. I know they can spawn, but I think the new plan is hop back in the probe, fly around Placid with our tractor beam on the probe, and then if we run into a site that has NPCs spawn from it, then we will reevaluate and see if we have to return to Trixie the Thrasher. But I want to get some more fishing in, and it really seems like flying around system to system, launching core scanner probe 1s out of a core probe launcher 1 in a Thrasher is not the optimal fishing setup. Not that I have any idea what optimal looks like for this, given that we've run 1/4 of one site. And here's the other downside to flying around in an afterburner Thrasher. Oh, they're killing something else right now. Let's try and get off grid. Well, they're busy killing that Viator. That was lucky. The blockade runner gets caught, and we're able to sneak out. That Arazu and Rapier would have had no problem whatsoever locking me down on that gate. Not that, you know, there's anything in here that's particularly of value, except that we'd have to build another tractor beam if we wanted to keep fishing. But this does only further cement my thoughts that we should get into a nimble microwarp drive probe for this blind jumping around low sec looking to scan these sites. Oh, there's the there's the blockade runner pilot in a capsule. Well, I found a Serpentis DD 2 of 10, which is not a fishing hole. But what's the point in scanning if you're not going to get distracted? I'm going to go back and grab Trixie. What did we get there? B-type multispectrum coating, B-type explosive coating, B-type EM coating. Well, another B-type multispec. We'll throw that on a thorax, I'm sure. Nothing game-changing here, though. Nice little change of pace. Only took about 10 minutes or so. Let's get back to fishing. So I'm starting to think that fishing is not something that you set out to do intentionally in this event, because I have scanned 12 systems now, and though the very first site that I scanned in Elbrez was a fishing hole, I haven't seen another one since. So I think I'm about to scan Ratalos, and then maybe, I guess actually Vivelinel, and then I'll be over in Anki, where I have another base set up, obviously, because that's where I was running the DED 5 of 10s from. So I'll scan my way over to Anki and call it a hard day's unsuccessful fishing when I get there. Although there's 2 combat sites here in Ratalos with pretty big signatures. Serpentis Drug Outlet. Is that a DED site? Is that worth running? It's definitely not a fishing hole. It's a DED 1 of 10. Alright, let's go run that with this probe. With our drones. I have drones, right? Yeah, I've got drones. While I scan down these other 2 sites. Oh, it's a fishing hole! Well, I'm already committed. I'm already committed to this 1 of 10. Should be pretty fast. Two Deepflow Rifts. And we've just finished running the DD 1 of 10 with our 3 Tech 1 drones. Let's grab our loot, drop it off in system, and finally get back to fishing. That's what we're here for today. I came here to fish. I don't think this Corelli C-type small remote armor repairer is going to be seeing a lot of use in our solo run. But I always want to run, with the Serpentis at least, I always want to run those 1 of 10s and 2 of 10s when I see them, just because of the chance of the small armor repairer and the afterburner and the micro warp drive. They're so useful. So far, So far, the prize of the day is one spatial attunement unit from the like 6 relic sites I ran while I was out scanning for Deepflow Rifts. Okay, we've got our tractor beam. We're warping to the rift, and presumably that X minutes remaining timer that gave us no context as to what it was counting down to will actually start at 15 minutes this time for us, as we're warping in our fishing ship. Rift is about to open. Having the opportunities tab open seems to be pretty critical to understanding how these sites work. Time remaining 15 minutes. Still not super clear on how this instability works. Oh, but we got cargo container on our first cycle that time. Alright, this is already going much better than our first fishing trip. Shall we open it while we're fishing? Let's open it while we're fishing. We got regulating survey data and sleeper data. 800,000 ISK worth. We're not getting rich doing this. 1 of 27. So if the cans are about 1 million ISK each, then in fact, if we were able to get all 27 cans, that would be an amazing income from 15 minutes. But at this rate, there is no way we're getting 27 cans. And this instability counter is like topping out at 16 and then going back to 0. There's not seem to be a lot of instability in these sites. I wonder if they're balanced for having multiple tractor beams. Am I just doing this wrong by only having one tractor beam? Is this playing it safe but unprofitable? Should I come back with a thrasher with 8 tractor beams on it? Let's see if the 1 million holds. Red loot, blue loot. 1.1 million that time. I suppose this isn't terrible. This isn't terrible once you're actually in the site. Even with one tractor beam. We've been in here 2.5 minutes and we've made 2 million ISK. That's not bad at all. But I spent a solid 2 hours flying around in between the first fishing hole and this fishing hole. Spent about 2 hours just looking for another rift without finding one. And as we were talking about in the big ISK per hour episode, you really have to count that time. If we walk away from this 15-minute timer with 15 million ISK, we can't say this is a 60 million ISK per hour activity. We would have to spread that 15 million ISK out over the full 2 hours that we spent trying to find this site in the first place. Red loot, blue loot. This is looking pretty predictable. And we're averaging right on 800,000 ISK per can so far in this site. Is there rare treasure? Or is this all we get? And also, will the NPCs ever spawn? I'm guessing the answer is no, given that our approach to these sites is keeping instability so low. That's the trick. If we came back in a thrasher with 8 tractor beams on it, then presumably we'd be pushing the instability up much faster and running the risk of the NPC spawns, but then we'd have no guns. 4 tractor beams, 4 guns. That is not going to be the right way to go. Red loot, blue loot, red loot. Oh, blue loot on the top of this time. Tripping me up. Red loot, blue loot, blue loot, red loot, blue loot, red loot, red loot, blue loot. We're on Dr. Zeus theme here. 1 loot, 2 loot, red loot, blue loot. Red loot, blue loot. Oh, there's 3 in this one. Red loot, blue loot. What? What are you? You caught a fish! We caught a fish! Okay. I am a simple man. You caught a fish! Exclamation mark. I suddenly no longer care whether or not this is an efficient use of my time. I don't care how much this red loot's worth. I don't care how much this blue loot is worth. I caught a literal fish. It has been frozen for an indeterminable period of time and its structure warped by the abyssal environment in ways that are difficult to determine, so it has no nutritional or monetary value. Nutritional is spelt wrong, or is it? Is this a neutrino pun or a typo? I don't know, and I don't care. I am happy I caught a fish. Time to count our haul. So 2 sites. We ran 2 sites just now, and that's by definition, it seems, exactly half an hour. And we made 31.3 million ISK in blue loot and red loot, which we can sell to NPCs. We will pay some broker fees or taxes when we do so, but it's going to be about 30 million ISK per 30 minutes. This is a 60 million ISK per hour activity once we find the site with a single tractor beam. If we had 3 tractor beams, I think we might be pulling in roughly 3 times as much ISK per minute. 3 million ISK per minute? That is incredible. Of course, we have to count the time it took us to find them. So I think that's the real takeaway from today, is that as long as this event is running, we're not going to spend any more time actively hunting fishing holes, but I'm going to build 2 more tractor beams, and when we're putting around in a probe scanning for wormholes or whatever anyways, I'm going to have my 3 tractor beams waiting. And if we find a deep flow rift and we aren't in a rush to get somewhere, we'll set up for a little ice fishing, crack a beer and see what we catch. See if we can catch, some more frozen ryba. This guy is the light of my life. I shall name you Finnegan. And God help me if anything ever happens to you. Finnegan's coming all the way to Zarzak with me. I just met him, but I can't bear the idea of leaving him behind. Finnegan is going to be sitting in the co-pilot seat of the Cynabal. Thanks for watching, and thanks for your patience. I know it's been a long wait, but we are back. Episodes should be rolling out weekly from here till Cynabal.